Coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about an interesting rumor floated out by ESPN that suggested Russell Wilson will be a Las Vegas Raider in 2024. And then we're going to touch on the latest revolving around Justin Fields potentially being traded and whether or not the Broncos would make sense as a trade destination. But quick self-plug, we're trying to reach 20,200 subscribers. We are 16 away. So if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you go ahead and do so. Now, let's get to the Russell Wilson portion of the show because ESPN came out with an article where they had a whole bunch of their staff writers, league execs collab on some bold-ish, but not even too bold predictions for the 2024 offseason. And the first one was Russell Wilson ends up with the Raiders. Now, we all know that the Broncos benched Wilson for the final 2 weeks. What we don't know is the actual reason why they did it. The team says, or Sean Payton said it was for an offensive spark. I don't buy that load of bull crap. They benched him because they did not want him to get hurt and kick in fully guaranteed money for 2025, and I fully expect the Broncos to move on from him and incur a whopping $85 million dead cap hit, which that's for another video as to why they think they can get better quarterback play with $85 million of their salary cap devoted to a player not even on their team. But here's what the NFL exec for ESPN had to say. The Raiders need a vet, and they are one of Wilson's original teams he wanted to go to. He'd stay in the AFC West, West Coast, and Ciara can do a Las Vegas residency where she could perform. Now, if you go back in time, Russell Wilson had a wish list of teams back in 2021 when he said, I don't want to get traded, but if I got traded, I wouldn't mind any of these 4 teams. It actually didn't even include the Broncos back then, but it was the Cowboys, the Saints, which is kind of ironic because he wanted to go play with Sean Payton, and after one season, Sean Payton ignited the divorce of that relationship. The Raiders and the Bears. Now, the Bears don't make any sense anymore because they've got Fields. If they don't like Fields, they've got the first overall pick. The Cowboys have Dak. The Saints just paid Derek Carr. But the Raiders, they are still looking for a quarterback. And I don't think Aiden O'Connell is their answer long term. I think Aiden O'Connell, for being a day 3 pick, probably exceeded some people's expectations, but AOC did not provide Raider Nation enough belief that he can be their long-term guy, and so they are still searching for a quarterback. Let's just get this out in the open. Russ is getting cut. They may say that they're still thinking about it, but honestly, how can you bring him back into that locker room as just a lame duck quarterback when everyone knows no one here in the coaching staff believes in him or wants him? That's why they benched him at the end of the season. And I think the Raiders would love to bring in Russell Wilson or kind of any veteran quarterback because they could sign specifically Russell Wilson to a veteran minimum deal. And I'm sure that Russell Wilson would love nothing more than to take the vet minimum contract. That way the Broncos still have to pay majority of his salary because whatever Russell Wilson makes on his next team, that is deducted from what the Broncos would have to pay him. So he wants Denver to be stuck with most of the bill. So he'll take a vet minimum deal. I'm sure he'd love the opportunity to stay in the division and play the Broncos twice. So I see some motive on Russell Wilson's side to go to the Raiders. And I see motive on the Raiders side to take a vet minimum QB and maybe use Russell Wilson as a bit of a bridge quarterback until they figure out whether they've got a rookie they want long-term or whether they like to draft a rookie at all this year because they don't have a top 10 pick. But at the same time, when I think about Antonio Pierce, is Antonio Pierce a coach that would welcome Russell Wilson open arms? Like, if we learned anything from the AP era in Las Vegas, it is they're going to smoke cigars and they're going to party like it's their last night on earth after every single win. And Russell Wilson, let's just call it what it is, doesn't really seem like a good fit for the way the Raiders operate and the way Antonio Pierce operates. I think he would stick out like a sore thumb in that Raiders locker room. Now, maybe Antonio Pierce wouldn't mind that. He's just looking for on-the-field results. But from a personal level, they don't seem like a good fit at all. Now, let me ask this question to you because before we started filming, actually earlier today, I was talking with one of my coworkers, Marshall Green, who does our Giants channel, and he reminded me of a good measuring stick I like to use when deciding whether or not you'd be okay with letting a guy walk. And the test is really simple. Would you be okay with that player starting for your rival team? If the answer is no, then you probably want to hold on to him more than you realize. If the answer is yes, then you have your answer. So would you be comfortable with Russell Wilson on the Raiders? I think I would be. I think I would be. Because you could make a move for a trade to get Justin Fields to Denver. So let's now discuss the possibility of Justin Fields coming over to the Broncos, because we've had a month or so of all the big draft channels and sources and networks and websites putting out mock drafts. And, well, there's no secret. The Bears are looking to draft a quarterback first overall. Look at all the recent mock drafts for the Bears. Mel Kiper, Caleb Williams, first overall. Jordan Reed from ESPN, Caleb Williams, first overall. Dane Brugler from The Athletic, Caleb Williams, first overall. The Athletic, Caleb Williams, first overall. CBS Sports, Caleb Williams, first overall. They all have Caleb Williams going first overall. So, if the Bears are looking to get a new quarterback, Justin Fields will without a doubt be traded. And now we'll discuss whether or not the Broncos would be a good trade destination. And ultimately, everyone can be happy from the 2021 draft. For those of you that wanted Pat Surtain, and for those of you that wanted Justin Fields, why not both? Now you can get both. But really quickly, I do want to tell everyone about a great deal going on with our friends over at Fanatics, because this Justin Simmons jersey is 40% off. I don't know why. Is this a sign of the Broncos' plan to trade Justin Simmons this offseason? I really doubt if that was the case. Sean Payton's first phone call would be to Fanatics. But if you want to get a Justin Simmons jersey for well below $100 and 40% off, literally, I don't want to sound like a TV telemarketer, but do not wait, because these Fanatics sales, they come and go. And if you put it off for a day or two, tomorrow it might be back up to $130. So get a Justin Simmons jersey right now for 40% off when you use our link, chatsports.com/Simmons. Now, Justin Fields' career has been an interesting one to dissect, because the raw numbers, they surely don't look like a quarterback that you think could be the next franchise QB. And I understand that Broncos country is tired of finding these short-term-ish, like uncertain future QBs, but let's face it, Denver has gone down every single path for a quarterback, right? They've gone the Teddy Bridgewater short-term QB route. That didn't really work out. They've drafted a quarterback in the first and second round, Lynch and Locke. Neither one worked out. So what about a trade, which they did trade for Joe Flacco, but this is a very different stage of their career. Now, Justin Fields is not only, I think, a very good passer, because he has the ability to stand in the pocket and deliver some absolute dimes down the field. He is not just a runner first, but we do have to include his ability to run the football, because when he takes off, there's no stopping this sports car. He's got 2,220 yards in his career. The Broncos didn't have a single running back last year rush for over 100 yards. Denver's ground game the last 2-3 seasons has come to an absolute halt. So Justin Fields could very much help ignite that. I am a Fields believer and defender. I think Justin Fields is a very good quarterback. I think he has a long career in this league as a starter, and I think any team that needs a quarterback should look into Justin Fields. I can also understand why the Bears are looking to draft Caleb Williams, because after 3 seasons with Fields, they've got a pretty good idea as to who he is in their system, and it's just not working out enough to pass on a potential, superstar quarterback in Caleb Williams. So I can understand both sides as to why it makes sense for the Bears to move on from Fields, and why other teams should look at that not as a sign of Fields is a bad quarterback, but as Fields is not working out in Chicago enough to the liking to pass on taking Caleb Williams first overall when you were just lucky enough to have that first overall pick thanks to the Panthers. So I came up with some trade ideas for Justin Fields. Here's the first one. Justin Fields to Denver for the Broncos' 3rd-round pick this year and their 2nd-round pick next year. Denver, nor Chicago, by the way, has a 2nd-round pick in this upcoming draft. I think Fields more likely goes for a 2nd-round pick. I don't think a team's going to give up a first, but I think a team would give up a 2nd. But the Broncos don't have a 2nd to give this year. So instead, it's a 3rd and it's a future 2nd. Now, if Chicago doesn't want a future 2nd, what about this trade idea? What about Fields and Judy swap, and the Bears also pick up a 4th round. I think Justin Fields has a higher trade value right now than Jerry Jeudy does, especially because Jeudy has his 5th-year option left on his rookie deal, and that is all, whereas Justin Fields would have 2 more years on his rookie contract. But I think Fields and Jeudy swap places. That way, Caleb Williams goes to Chicago with DJ Moore and Jerry Jeudy there, so the Bears can feel like they're making some good progress to help their new quarterback out. And they pick up an early day 3 pick. In exchange, Denver could get their franchise quarterback for a day 3 pick and a wide receiver that in 4 seasons has yet to go over 1,000 yards. This screams win-win to me. So, which trade do you prefer? The first trade, where the Broncos give up a 3rd and a 2nd rounder for Fields, or the second trade we looked at, where the Bears get Jerry Jeudy and a 4th for Justin Fields? Let me know in the comment section which trade you prefer. Now, that's going to do it for us on our show today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate those of you guys that make us a part of your routine. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so. And if you are subscribed, turn on those noties, like the video, all that cliche stuff, and I'll see you all later.